Alright, quick short video here on a resubmit of 4 cards that I had done through SGC. I usually pre-grade my cards, obviously myself, with a magnifying glass and a centering tool before I send them in. These 4 cards, actually I have about 6 or 8 overall now from SGC that I was at least 2 points or better off on the grading. Some as much as 4. Hard to believe. So we're going to start out here with a 138 Topps Kobe, and this is the case I broke it from. And here is the new slab. Now, I submitted 2 of these at the same time, the SGC, and the other Kobe that I have graded at like a 6, and it has a scratch right down the center of, well, I shouldn't say right down the center of it, it's actually along the side of Kobe's leg, plant leg, clear as day, and yet somehow that scratched card graded a 1.5 higher than this card. So needless to say, I was a little upset. My actual pre-grade on this card was about an 8, so a 9, kind of happy with. Better than the 8 I was expecting. Alright, next up, another Kobe Bryant. This one came in a 4. Bought this, pulled it from the package myself 20 years ago. Not a damn thing wrong with this card. That wasn't production. Jim Mint came back at a 10. I thought it would be a 9, but I never say a 10 anything because 10s to me are about impossible to get, especially from SGC and especially on an older card. The only problem with this card right here is that center box. See it? If you look on this side of the card, sorry, you can see how much thicker that is than that side. But that's not something that's not a that's a manufacturing defect that's probably across all those cards. Nobody that collects cards should be held accountable for that. However, I think some of these grading companies that do this by eye, like I did, don't take that into account. This thing here says the only issue with it that wasn't a 10 was the surface. And I'm not sure what they saw on the surface of this, but this card is about perfect. Alright, next up. This one here, I can't really blame this on SGC because this one was really more my fault. So when they graded it, it came in at a 7.5, regraded at 9.5. That's more realistic on where it was. Again, this is when I bought off of eBay a pack and actually hit this card, 2nd year Topps Chrome. However, when I submitted it to SGC, in their defense on this card, the back of this card had remnants of the covering, if you will. You know how these older cards stick together in these packs as they sit. Well, the card that was behind it actually stuck to the back of this one, and I never wiped the back off. I only wiped the front. So in SGC's defense, it probably would have graded at 9 to them anyway. But as you can see, 2 points, big money, especially from 7.5 to 9.5. Now here's the one that's probably the most dumbfounding and the one that aggravates me as well. Is, well, case is falling apart over here. That's what happens when you crack them. I'm almost tempted to send them back to them and say, hey, see if I can get that in there. So, no, let me reset that a little bit so maybe, just maybe, you can see this one. And this one, I think a lot of guys and gals are running into problems with SGC. So that's a Mattingly rookie, and it came back at A, altered. However, these things could have been cut like that from the factory. They don't take that into account. And I've seen more than one person complaining about this on the SGC site. The only thing wrong with this card is the centering's a bit off. As you can see, the centering's a bit off. It's a little twisted. You can really see it down in there. But other than that, there isn't any damn thing wrong with that card. These guys, they give it an A, which makes it about worthless. And in reality, the only thing really wrong with it was the centering. Now, they gave 10s to everything but centering. They got it 9.5. I would have gave the card a 9 because the centering is that far enough off to me that it should have been a 9. I'm not going to complain about the 10. I'm just saying that's where my feelings are at on it. So I have probably 4 to 6 more SGC cards that have thought about cracking and seeing what a company like Gem Mint. The Gem Mint uses computers to map these cards out that you send in to them to actually do the grading. It's not done by some guy that's sitting there going, holy crap, that's a second-year Kobe card. We need to cut population down on it, so let's give it a lower grade. Or, for instance, this card here. The reality is these don't grade 10s, but this some bitch came out of a package brand new 23 years ago, right into a top loader. I know there was nothing wrong with it. To grade it a 4, that I do not understand. There's no way in hell that a computer is going to do this 6 points higher than the eye test. Problem is, we don't ever get any answers as to why our card is a 4 in that, because SGC doesn't put any of these 4 bullet points up there to tell you why they graded your card the way they did. Or, for instance, the altered. Why? Because it looks like a corner might have got clipped. Because I know the corner didn't get clipped. You know, here's the other thing. At the same time I sent this in, I sent a Roger Clemens extended rookie. You know, the really good Roger Clemens rookie. And SGC gave it a 9. Centering is off on that one, just like this one, which is why I expected that to be a 9. But anyway, there you go. That was my resubmit from SGC to Gem Mint. Now I got to start doing some research into figuring out why some of these got the grades they did from Gem Mint. Yeah, if I figure that out, I'll do another video and we'll talk about it some more. Thanks.